Alright, hi guys, it's Killian. This is going to be my first YouTube video where I'm going to be showing you on this channel basically a lot of makeup products that I love and a lot of products that I can sell to you. All the products that I'm using today are not any that I can sell to you, but these are my everyday products that I use, and I just want you guys to get a little bit familiar with what I use before you trust me with whatever you're gonna buy off of me if you choose to. So, I'm gonna start off with my primer. So of course, everyone knows what this is, the Professional by Benefit. This is the only primer that I actually think works, honestly. It really does fill in your pores, and I mostly only use it around the nose area. So I kind of just massage it in, kind of push it into, and I kind of do it around the bottom, because as you can see, I have a lot of redness that is around the bottom here. Okay. And after I'm done rubbing that in, I'm going to grab, I use both the Infallible by L'Oreal, this guy, and then I also use the Milani foundation that they actually just came out with. This thing's only like $10, if that, and it is so good. So I mix those both together. Obviously, I only use a little bit of the Infallible because you can see how thick it is, and right now I have really dry skin in the winter, so then I mix it with a darker color, because my neck, you can obviously see there's a difference between my face and my neck, so I'm going to use just a little bit of a darker color with the lighter color too. So I put about that much on, and I'm just going to put it all together. And a lot of girls do this when they have their neck is a lot deeper colored than their faces, just because a lot of people use self-tanning like I do, and whenever I'm putting makeup on all day and then take it off, that self-tanning is coming off right with the makeup. So my neck really gets it, but not my face a lot. So when I put this on, it's going to be a lot darker than my face, but it matches my neck. So I usually just put 3 dots each on my cheeks, one on my chin, one on my nose, 3 on the forehead, and a little bit on my eyes. So after I'm done, I obviously have a lot more left over, but that's for after I blend it in. I can notice the spots where it really didn't cover all of the redness, because I have a lot of redness underneath my nose and also on my cheeks. So I just use these Tarte brushes. I mostly only use those. I have a couple e.l.f. ones and a couple IT Cosmetics, but honestly, if you have the technique down, if you have decent brushes, it's gonna come out just fine. So I really wouldn't worry about splurging too much on brushes, because also there's always the Beauty Blender that you can almost use for anything liquid on your face, and a lot of powder also. So I just kind of put it on my ears a little bit. Sorry, the lighting is taken over. And I just very lightly, and you can see it matches. So I'm just gonna put a little bit down. Don't drag it all the way down. And I'm gonna do the same. I should have wet this already, but I'll just put some water on it. Right after I go in with my foundation, I always go in with a Beauty Blender just over it, and it really just helps me with just making it look more skin-like than it already does. And I really do recommend the Beauty Blender to everyone. I think most of girls that, and then I just pounce this all around. It's kind of bothering me. And I just kind of pounce this all around my face in no specific order. And I mostly just focus around my nose, because I have a lot of problems with it sinking into this crease, and I just really want to make sure before I said it, it's not, or before I put foundation, or I mean, before I put concealer on, that it's not looking crazy already, so when I put more product on it, it's not going to clump up. I also like to get inside my eyes right here. And underneath my nose. Okay, so now I'm gonna go on to concealer, where for concealer, I usually do use these age rewind things, but lately I've just been going in with the same foundation, the lighter foundation that I used, and I'll put it on my hand because these foundations are literally so pigmented, and the coverage is just amazing without it being too like clumpy and too dry, which is a problem with most foundations when they have really good coverage, is that they're very, very drying. So you can tell this will give me just a little bit of lightening. I don't really like to go in with concealer much because I noticed that it just doesn't work for me, honestly. And I just put it right underneath my nose, a little bit on the tip of my nose, right here, and right here. We're gonna go on to the powder. I usually like wait a couple minutes in between. I go wash my hands really quick to get all the foundation off. But I just kind of, after those couple minutes go by, I go right underneath again, make sure there's no creasing going on. And then I always go in with the Fit Me by Maybelline. I really used to use like a lot of high-end product when I first started makeup, because I saw a bunch of gurus on YouTube and they all had like $50 foundations or this and that, and I bought it all, and then I finally just like noticed the value of money, and then I stopped paying for all of that, and I noticed I could pay for other things with that money, and I can get literally almost the same exact quality but with drugstore makeup. And of course there's some like exceptions to that, but overall most of my collection is all drugstore. But before, like, I used to wear Estee Lauder foundation. That was my favorite foundation for so long, and then I use the Milani and I get basically the same exact look. And I just kind of pat that. I pat it right in. I don't really like to go like this when I'm putting powder straight over foundation. Obviously when I'm doing my contour or bronzing, I blend it in that way. But I've found that it's a lot better when you're putting it straight on foundation. Don't just go like this, because guess what you're doing? You're moving the foundation right underneath the powder. So it's better to just pack it on. And I'm not using a lot. I'm going to put it up here next. I don't really put a lot of powder on my forehead anyway, because the other thing that I really like about this combination of the foundations is I don't feel like I'm even setting liquid on my skin, because it dries down so quick, which could be a bad thing, but it doesn't dry down when I'm applying, you know what I mean? And then I usually just use the least bit of the powder, which I'm really running out of it. I use the last bit that I poured out, and I just kind of put it right in between here and drag it down to make sure that foundation that I put on my neck will be all good. And I usually just go like this, even though it's not very cute. Just always do that. Make sure I get it in the hairline. And after I'm all done, I usually then I start those motions, because it's all covered. Oh, I actually didn't cover my eyelids. That's a very big part, is covering your eyes with the powder, because you're prepping it for the eyeshadow that you're about to put on it. Because I don't use any sort of eyeshadow primer. As I said, the Benefit Professional is literally the only primer that I've been like, wow, I can actually see a difference. I don't really believe that they do much but make it more sticky. And the sticky does make the eyeshadows more pigmented, and they show up a lot more, but it makes it really hard to blend, and when you can't blend, the pigment really doesn't matter. So I'm gonna do that. And it'll be easier for you guys to see what I'm doing to my eyes when you're a little bit closer to me. Okay. So first, I only use 2 brushes ever on any eyeshadow. And you guys are probably like, ooh, but honestly, like, it works if you find the right brushes, which this one came in a palette, the Naked 2 palette, I believe, and then this one came off of Amazon. As I told you, you can be balling on a budget, honey. So first, I'm gonna take, this is my packing, this is my blending, that's basically all I do to achieve an eye look. So first, I'm going in with the Too Faced Peachy palette, or what's it called? Just Peach Mattes. And this is what it looks like. I literally love it, you can tell. I love that shade. And that's what we're gonna go in first with. So I'm gonna grab some of the peach tea. And I am just gonna pack that all over my eye. Not being very careful. Just pack it on there. Make sure you have the outer corner covered. Side. Really don't worry about like getting it on your crease. Obviously we're going straight for the lid, but if you get it up in the crease, it's really doesn't matter because we're covering this with a very dark brown after anyway. This is just, I find that these first couple steps that I'm going to show you with 2 different colors really help with this is basically my primer. So like I'm putting down more powder so that the final really dark brown that I'm gonna put on top, it blends very easily. So I'm gonna kind of put this here. I'm sorry if it gets in the way, but I need to be able to see. And as you can see, I'm just kind of going right in there, fanning it out, making sure that, sorry, I'm really trying to make sure that I'm not getting in the way. And I'm really just gonna go in here, and as you can see, blended pretty darn easily. And then I'm probably just gonna grab a little bit of the same brown and just lay it back down in the crease. So this basically right here would be my everyday look. This is what I use for work or anywhere I go. It's the only brown that I use for every day, but hey, it works and it looks fine. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the other eye. I just hit my eye there. She's gonna start watering in about 2 seconds here, so. If you see me crying, it's just because of me hitting it, not because of how horrible this is right now. Oh yeah, I'm watering. Okay, let's get off of that eye for a second. And really, I think the complete key to some good eyeshadow is blending. That's it, just keep on going back and blending and blending and blending, and it will really just make it work. As you see, I like to go underneath like this, and that's really just to make sure that my eyeshadow isn't going anywhere lower than where the corner of my eye is, because if it goes lower than that, honestly, you're just gonna look like tired, droopy-eyed, whole lots of things. It's gonna look like you don't know how to apply makeup whatsoever. So as you can see, I'm dragging it out on this side. Really just working that in. Okay. So I see that my crease on this side is a lot deeper than this side, so I'm just gonna go back in. Make sure that it's all good. And also, even though I'm gonna be putting a color over it, doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to see all the way up here. All the way up here, you know, because I'm not going to drag that dark color all the way up. It's going to be mostly focused on my outer corner and my lid. Sorry. Okay, so now after that is laid down, I'm just going to go into a darker color, and I'm going to use this color at the bottom right here. It's called Fresh Pit. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it in the same exact place that I put that brown initially. Should really be looking in the mirror, you know? Okay. On the other eye, same thing. Making sure the outer corner is covered. And I'm not going to put any product on the brush for this one because I really don't want to make the whole eye very dark until I get to that last color. So I'm going to go in, really work that out. And these shadows, man, like there is really no work with them. You don't have to worry about like blotchiness whatsoever or blending for a very long time, especially when you're doing a smoky eye. You know you're about to be blending for a minute or two. So I'm gonna go in on the other eye. They just really help me. I believe that these are really good starter eyeshadows because they're just so easy to work with. Even the dark colors, which is why I use the darkest color out of this palette for my smoky eyes, because it's just so easy. I have found though in this palette, this one shade, this beautiful purple shade right here, no pigment, nothing. Does not work out very well for me, but every single other one is a winner. An absolute winner. So then as you can see, I took this out here and I really do not like how that looks. So I'm going to take the lightest shade in this palette and I'm going to do it on both eyes just because you can see that it went out on both eyes. And I'm just going to cut it and just kind of clean it up. And be careful with how much of this powder you're using because you really do not want this to be a lot lighter than the powder that you put underneath your eyes. I'm just going to do the same thing over here, and as you can see, you can still tell where it is over here, so I'm just going to blend that bad boy in. This is what I do whenever I drag out eyeshadows a lot farther, or even when it's not even me dragging it out, sometimes it will just flick, and it'll flick over there. I'm sorry for this lighting, like it's really not happening right now. And so I'm gonna make sure that it's cool over here, and then I'm gonna move on. See how that's a lot better? Okay. So now that I cleaned that up, let me show you guys just a little bit closer to the light. Very blended out. Obviously, I'm going to just blend out a little bit more like that white, but I'm gonna wait until I'm done because that'll just help with the darkest shade that we use, and I know that bad boy is gonna go out there, so I'm just gonna wait. So this is our final color. Now that I have all this set down, I'm gonna take the same packing brush again, and I'm gonna go into Peach Tart, this color right here. Oh, hi. Hey girl, what's up? Alright, so I'm gonna take that color very generously. Thank you. So I'm just gonna go on. I hope that doesn't happen when we're putting on mascara. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm just gonna put this all over the eye. Like so. And on the outer T. See how I matched it up right there? I'm basically just setting it down so that it's a lot easier for blending, and I'm already putting it down where it needs to be. Okay. I'm sorry if that was in front of the camera the whole time, and then I'm just gonna line it up a bit. And now that I have that laid down like that, I'm just gonna go straight in with the clean brush. And I'm going to just wipe back and forth. I'm not doing the regular circles really that I would usually do, because that's just gonna pull that dark color up, and you really do not want it to go all the way up. And you see how easily that just blended? Like, obviously that's not done, but you see how easily? As long as you're gentle with the color and you don't bring it out too far, it really should look good. And I just kind of go over it like so, back and forth, really blending that brown seamlessly into fresh picked and peach tea. So you see, we're getting there, guys. And I'm just gonna really blend, especially on this part. I don't even know why I'm sneezing so much. And I'm just kind of gonna go under with that light color one more time and clean up that edge one last time. See? And same with the other eye. We're gonna go in, just wipe windshield wipers back and forth. Easy. Do you guys ever feel like you can do makeup seamlessly on one side, usually like your dominant hand side, and then on the other side you're like, what the hell happened there? Because same. Okay, and I'm just gonna line it up again. Oh yeah, I might as well not get bold with that. I'm gonna really make sure that this line doesn't look like it's exactly cut in a way. Just make it look like I'm super good at this. So I'm just gonna go across that line, go up, and really just blend it all out. Just keep blending. And this side, like, I always feel like this side really just goes so much further than this side ever does. Like, see how that's controlled? Then over here, there's like eyeshadow up in here. Like, what the hell is going on? It just irritates me. Okay. Like, I just have to do so much more to this side than I ever have to with the other side. Okay, so now, see how I had to doctor that bad boy up? So now I'm just gonna kind of blend out the edges there, because you really don't want to see that. Okay. And I can tell, like, right here, it's kind of splotchy, so I really want that outer corner to really be way darker than any part of this eye. I really want it to be cat-like. So I'm going to press just a little bit more of that pigment right on the outer corner. See how that made a lot bigger difference? And the same on the other side. And I'm just gonna very, very lightly blend that in. Like, don't go over the whole thing. Like, that is fine. Okay, and then on this side, just gonna very lightly do it. And I just hate how the lighting is portraying it so much different than what it looks like in real life. But it's okay. And so I'm finally gonna go back in with this, the same color. And I'm gonna go over kind of the top of it. Okay, now that I'm done with my sneezing attack that I just had, I'm gonna go back in and we're on blush now. So I use the Wet n Wild. These things are fire, fire. They're highlighters, fire. So good. So I use this. I'm just gonna dip in with that same brush that I was kind of blending out. And I really make sure you can hardly even see that pink on there, because obviously we don't want our cheeks to look exactly that color. So I'm just gonna very lightly drag it back and forth. And it puts a very pretty wash over my face of pink. Okay, happy with that. So after I'm done with that, I just kind of put the bronzer and that all together. Make sure that there's no harsh lines. After you make sure there's no harsh lines, we're gonna make sure there's a harsh line. So I go in with the Infallible Pro Glow. I'm not gonna use the glowing side of it. As you can see, there's like the glow and then that's kind of like a grayer undertone. So I'm going to take my e.l.f. brush that I was using at the beginning, and I just kind of put it right here so that there's powder all on the side. And here's some tips and tricks from using like a bunch of different brushes instead of just buying one brush for something. So I kind of find where I want it to be. I'm just going to kind of cut it. This is kind of really hard to do without a mirror right in front of me. Hold on. So you see how I made a very straight line right there? And I'm going to do the same with the other side. Like, this is probably the most satisfying part of my makeup. Like, I love cutting it right at the end. Okay, so after that, I don't really let it bake or anything because honestly the powder holds the color that I just put down very nicely. Oh my god, if I sneeze one more time, I swear. So I'm gonna go right underneath and just kind of brush it away. This is so irritating. Okay. After another sneezing attack, I sneeze like super abnormally when like something irritates me, like not on a daily basis, but like something definitely irritated me. And like when my nose gets irritated, like all hell breaks loose, honestly. There's no fixing it. So after that, best part, oh wait, no, we have to do my brows first, sorry. So for my brows, as you can see, I have pretty full brows, and like I don't really like to mess with them very much. So I just kind of go over them with my spoolie, and I use, I don't even know what this is, the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill. And I kind of like it how it's like shaped a certain way. I don't know. I don't really ever like use lots of different brow products because there's nothing that I really need done to my brows. I just kind of like to sharpen up like the bottom of it, and I also mostly just use it to get that foundation and powder off of my brows and have them go back to their regular color. Like, I don't really want to do much of this brow right now. Sorry, I'm not the brow girl. I'm done. Like, I basically just needed it to be a darker color than what it was from all the foundation and stuff. So I just kind of flick it underneath. And just throw it around in there. And I kind of try to make it darker at the end, but it really doesn't matter if it's not, because either way, brows really aren't a thing to me. I don't really care about them. So now I usually use my Becca Champagne Pop by Jaclyn Hill and Becca, but obviously I love her. So I'm actually gonna show you guys, because everyone knows about that highlighter. It's very popular. A lot of girls have that in their collections, so I'm gonna show the Wet n Wild as I showed you. This is the same as my blush, but these things work so freaking well. And also another drugstore highlighter that I'm in love with is the Maybelline Master Chromes. These things are fire, except my skin's just a little bit too light for how dark this gold is, so I'm just not even gonna go into that. So now for this, I use a little e.l.f. brush like this, and I'm just gonna go straight in. I used to spray like a little bit of a like makeup spray like Fix Plus, or I'd use water also, because water honestly kind of works the same exact way. But honestly, it really makes a break in between your bronzer or your blush and your highlighter. Like, there's a very like obvious line that it puts. So I'm just gonna put that everywhere. I kind of like it to come down here too. A little bit on the nose. I kind of put it up here too. On my chin, up here, and then I take the packer brush, but the other side there's like a little thing here, and I put it right in the corner of my eye. It just brightens it up. Oh yeah. So after the highlighter, I'm just going to show you a little bit closer. It definitely blends in well with the rest of my makeup. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to curl my lashes. Then we're going to throw some mascara on. So I shall do that. You guys know how to curl lashes. I kind of go all the way up my lashes with curling different parts of them. And it seems to give me a very pumped up look. As you can see. I'm being such a mouth breather right now because somehow my nose is extremely stuffed up from who knows what. I just kind of shake it back and forth. I don't really hold it exactly because I just don't want to rip all of my eyelashes out just for one look to look nice. And then I usually use, don't judge me, this is a little dirty, but I usually use the Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal, I think. Yeah, L'Oreal. Never noticed how much L'Oreal I had in my collection, but that's pretty dried out. I've been using it, but honestly, this is the best mascara in the drugstore. It looks just like Better Than Sex mascara. It looks like it too. So I'm just gonna go in with the Clinique High Impact Mascara. And look in here. Don't judge my faces right now. You already know how it goes. I just kind of do like a base layer. Really? And then that's that. And then I'm gonna put on my bottoms just a little bit. I really hate a lot of mascara on my bottom lashes. It really ticks me off. Oh, and I forgot, hold on. I use a very weird way of putting on black eyeliner basically, but I use eyeshadow. So this is the Dipped in Gold chocolate palette from Too Faced. Gorgeous. In reality, half of these shadows are really not pigmented and clump up and really don't look that good, but this black in here is good. I guess. You can't really go very wrong with the black, so I'm just going to put that on the little end right here, and I'm just going to push it into my waterline. Obviously it gets in my eye, but girl, don't worry about it. Okay, so thank you for watching, and bye guys.